And okay, just a minute. We have others that are joining as well. All right, no stress. All right, just a quick introduction on data analysis. What is it really? Well, we are looking into turning raw information, which we refer to as data or data sets, we are turning it into insights, which in a business sense, we're trying to extract as much as we can insights from raw data so that we can make decisions. Basically, it's more of making informed decisions, whether in business world or in other kind of industry. Yes. So by the end of this session, you'll be able to know how to load data, explore, analyze, and create charts. Because we are doing Python, and now maybe I'll just give a brief introduction of the tool that we're going to use. And while we are at it, for those who have not used Colab before, you just go on your Google Chrome or a browser of your choice. You type Colab dot Google. You press enter. You'll be able to access this Google Colab homepage here. So you should be able to access or create new notebooks here. Okay. So why are we using Python? There might be just a quick pause and to answer why do we choose Python? Well, Python is free. It's easy to learn. It's used worldwide. It has a larger community. So if you hit a snag, you can search and get assistance from open source communities or specialized community in terms of Python, whether you are using it for development or using it for data science, also those things. Yes, in today's session, we are going to use pandas and matplotlib. We're going to use pandas and matplotlib. So I'm just going to give a brief introduction and explain why are we using these libraries and what is their advantage before I go into a live session. When while we are at it, others who will join later on, they can also quickly catch up. Okay, as I explained, what is Colab? Colab is well, they call it Colaboratory. It's just a hosted Jupyter notebook. For those who have done data analysis or data science or used Jupyter, it's just more like it needs a Python environment. So why are we choosing to use Colab? Colab, it allows us to run Python scripts. It allows us to just run, create a sort of environment through the browser. You don't need to do local installment. You don't need to do some setups, configurations in your local system, which is your local PC or your laptop. So yes, there's zero configuration required when we are using this tool called Google Collaboratory, and we are accessing processing powers of Google because they are giving us a sort of virtual environment where we can do our sessions, carry out various scenarios, experiments. Those who are involved in machine learning, they can do machine learning trainings as well using Google Colab. And it's also easy for sharing. We don't need to do any installations. It's perfect for beginners. Now, as I mentioned earlier on, that I'm going to use pandas and matplotlib. These are libraries that are mainly used in data science or data analysis, in which are Python libraries. Python, it has a lot of libraries that you can use, whether you are in development, maybe you are a software developer. It has its own libraries that you can also use for free. And for data science, we are going to use pandas and matplotlib. There are other libraries that you can also tap into when you are doing data analysis, such as Seaborn, Plotly, and also a lot of them. So what does pandas do? Pandas, they help us load data. They help us clean and prepare, analyze and summarize data and transform the data. Then pandas, they have
Carlos, are you already in? Hello, Carlos?
Yes, yes.
We don't see your.
Okay. No, I'm just giving a brief summary.
Oh,
a brief,
okay,
a brief summary and introduction. Yes, I haven't started the live session yet, so it's more like an open introduction. I don't know if you okay. Yes. So I was just giving a brief open introduction on Python data analysis, explaining the various libraries that we use, and then we can go into our live session where you can follow through. Anyway, I was just trying to explain what can we do with pandas and what can we do with Matplotlib, which is just a library that allows us to create line charts, bar charts, histograms. You'll see as we do our session here. Okay, now to our live session, let me just go through now. So if you are a beginner, as I explained, you type colab.google, it takes you to the homepage. This is the homepage that you get here. You see here it says open Colab. That is if you have an open session already, a file that has been saved already, a notebook, or you can create a new one, and then you can do any other experiments that you want to use, and you can do all those things like loading data, setting up, cleaning, and carry out some analysis. Well, this is how a fresh notebook looks like when you open a new one. Okay, so since we have a limited time, I'm just going to use the one that I've set up with notes, and which I'm also going to share with you at the end of the session. I'll attach it to your emails as well. So it has some notes which later on when you go through, you will also understand and also referring to the tables that we've to the video that we are going to be recording as well. Okay, so now just a quick one, just a minute. Okay, all right, no, it's fine. I was just quickly checking something. Okay, right. First thing first, what do we do when we open a fresh notebook like the one I have opened here? You do the setup. I've explained the libraries that I'm going to use. And so during this setup, that's where I'm importing the important libraries that we are going to use throughout the session. While we are at it as well, you can also load the data sets that you are going to use here. Let's say you have a data set in your Google Drive, you can also access it by connecting your notebook to your Google Drive and then access the data set. For now, that one, I'm going to use the one I shared with you earlier. It's in my local machine, so I'm just going to upload it. Right, take note that if you close your session, the data that you have loaded is more like in a cache memory. It's going to be deleted. It's not going to be saved. So meaning to say, if you open your saved notebook, you have to load the data set again. So if you go to your far left here, you see there's a folder icon here which says files. I go here, and then there's an icon which is an arrow pointing up, which is saying upload to session storage, as I've explained. So I'm just going to upload the data set that we are going to use here. So I have here supermarket sales, which has about 400 rows of data. So I'll just say open. It gives you a warning, which I explained that no, when you close that runtime session, it's also going to delete the data set that you've also uploaded here. Meaning to say, maybe you want to do a continuation from where you left off. You need to reload the data as well. So we are doing our setup. I have uploaded the data set here. You see, it's already here. It's a .csv file. So what I'm going to do next, I have to copy the file path. Let me just minimize here. Right. So after I import my libraries here, which is pandas, I'm just assigning a variable, which I'm saying import pandas spt, which is referring to a variable of pandas. But Matplotlib, as I said, is going to assist us when we do our visualizations. And then maybe I'll give a bit of an example with NumPy, as is also used in data analysis. But pandas is more of it's built on top of NumPy, because NumPy is just meaning numerical Python. We are dealing with numerical values mainly, but pandas, you have a chance of dealing with various data types, whether it's text, which we say strings, or numerical values, all sort of data types. Okay, so now, okay, already it says open imported here my file path. Let me just quickly show you. I have said copy that file path. We come here, I copy that, I paste it. Sorry, it's not there yet. Copy file path thing. Right, Control V, which means I'm saying copy paste. Right. So what are we doing here? I've done a variable which says df equal to pd.read underscore csv. It's a function. PD referring to this variable we've identified. We are telling the library to use here for loading our data. So what we are doing here is we are loading our data, and at the same time we are going to run a function on the data that we've loaded. It's more like we are storing the data that we've loaded into a df variable, which here I've provided some notes here underneath, which is explaining what is df. Is a simply variable that stands for data frame, or referring to a table. A data frame is just a table, just like an Excel sheet. There's rows and columns. You'll see when we do our exploration down here. So now, just to be sure that the data has been loaded correctly, I have to do df head here. It's more like we are starting to do our exploration, but at the same time, I'm also checking if the data has been loaded. So after I've typed this line of code, I have to press Shift, Enter. You can do that from your keyboard, or you can run this more like a play icon here, which says run a cell. We're just running the code command in this cell. So you see, after we've done df head here, it's showing us the first 5 rows of our data set. You can see now we have 5 rows. It has these columns: date, province, store, category, quantities, unit price, total sales, payment method, and customer. So which is the data set that we have for our case study here. So we can already deduce some, we can start to understand how your data is looking here by just doing this. So when it's loading like this, let's just say I decide to run another function like dftail, which is almost similar as head, because head is more like I need the first 5 rows of the data set. If I run another one, dftail, is giving me the last 5 rows again, which is more of the same thing that I'm trying to do here, just to understand the data and to understand that it has been loaded correctly. Yes, if you look at it here now. So what does df head, that function that I've ran earlier on, why is it important? Well, this function is important because it allows us to see whether the data was loaded correctly, and we can also check data types. You can see here, first column, we have dates. We have text in provinces. Yeah, like province, you see it's text. This is text data type. Quantities, unit price, these are now numerical data types now. See, and you can also see whether the data is clean or it needs to be cleaned. You understand here. You can also understand the rows and the columns that just there. Now let's move on to the next section. Moving on and also doing our exploration. I'm just going to comment out some of the code that I have here. We're gonna run them individually so that you understand, and you can also see what is what are we trying to achieve here when we are doing our exploration here. So df.info, it is also another function that we are running on our data frame variable df. Remember, we have saved that data. We loaded the data, and then it's stored in a variable which is df, and which we are calling here, and run a function on that variable. So as I said, df.info, then I press shift enter. It's going to give us a quick summary of the columns now. Now we want to understand the columns of our data set. You see here, we have data, province, all the columns that we have in our data set are also listed here. And it's also giving us a count, whether we have now values here. Now values normally, they give us discrepancies when we do our analysis. Meaning to say, whatever end result we're going to have if we carry out our data analysis with the data that is not properly standardized or cleaned or transformed, is going to affect our decision-making process. Right. It is also going to show you that what is the data type here. Well, when you're saying object, is just referring to text data type that we have, float, all those things that we are seeing here. So basically, this is what you run if you want to do a summary of of your columns in your data set. Next to another one that we have commented out before, we're just going to do a quick summary, a quick statistics. Quick statistics is just going to give us all these. Normally, we are looking into numerical data types that we have. Remember, I mentioned specifically that unit price, quantity, total sales are the ones that only provide numerical values. So when you do your describe function on your data frame, it's more like you just want to understand the statistics in your data set. What is the maximum value? You see here in our quantity column, what is the maximum value? It's 9, meaning to say, if we want to go go through all the 400 rows of our data set, you will see that the maximum value that we have, which is identified here, is 9 in our quantity column. So as you go to unit price, it's the same. You see the minimum, the standard deviation. We're just looking at the distribution of the data mean. So it's just giving you a quick statistics of your data set. So now imagine if our data was not properly cleaned, right? The one that we're using for now, it's not, it doesn't have much problems. That's why we don't have any problems when we run this. We are running these functions, right? df dot is null dot sum. Now what we want to achieve here is, I want us to see if we have now values in our data set. At the same time, we need a summation of how it's looking like. You see here, we're just looking column by column. So when it's summarizing, if we have any now values, suppose we had a now value in category here, it was going to count, which means it was not going to be 0 here. It was going to be another value. And maybe total sales, we have now values, maybe 5, it was going to show us 5, a sum of 5 now values there. So already shows that we don't have any now values. We need to say whatever analysis process that we're going to carry out on this data set, it's not going to be skewed, right? Another one, you have other functions that you can run, like df columns. See, it's more like you're just identifying the columns that we have here. Date, province, unit price, until customer type, all this thing. What is happening with this with df columns function there. Symbol is more like the head that we have done. If symbol, maybe it can pick randomly 5 rows there to give us a sample. See, it picked random random values there, random rows from our data set. See, from 376, which is row number 376, row number 15, row number, is just giving you a sample of your data set. It is one of the functions that we can run while we do our data exploration. Yes. Last but not least, we have so many things that you can do, but I want to just do another one, which is df shape. It's just giving you the shape of your data set. Remember earlier on I mentioned I have 400 rows. and 9 columns. So shape is just giving you this 400, meaning we have 400 rows, and 9, which is 9 columns. Right. So why is DF important in exploration? Well, as I said, that everything begins with the data frame, and we've stored that data frame data set in DF as a variable. Therefore, we can clean it, we can analyze, transform, visualize, as well as export. Yeah. Now, moving on to the next session, next section during our session here. Right, I have pointed out just a few. Some of the things when you practice, you come to realize, and maybe you have a lot of questions. That's what we call learning. Yes. So for now, I'm going to run these 3 for basic insights, just to, as it's more like we're exploring further our data set before we go into visualization. I've also provided some notes here. Why do we do this in our data set? So I'm going to comment out some of the functions that I've done here, so that I can run them individually and show you what is happening here. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to analyze or explore column by column. Like here, you see our data set, we have a column province. So what I want to do is I want to do a value count function, which allows us to understand which one has the highest value in terms of, like, let's look into buying, or which province is more popular here. Let's just run this quickly so that I can explain where you look at our output from the cell run here. Yes, we ran our DF, and then we identified the province as the column that we want to do our value count function. So you can see here, we are counting like individual objects that are in the column there. So KZN has the highest count in terms of objects that are in that column. So suppose you just want to see which one, which province has most buys. Like, look here, we're looking into the performance of sales. So if we are looking into sales, if KZN is showing as the highest here, it more shows that it is the one that has more sales in terms of count. But you come to understand there are a bit of differences when you go to our visualization. Maybe you understand. I'll come back and explain what I'm trying to say here. So you can see KZN is the highest count, followed by Limpopo, and the least one is Eastern Cape. So why is value count powerful, and why are we using it? Well, it is allowing us to quickly answer real business questions, such as which province buys the most. And if we look into other columns, such as category, it also has answers that you can deduce from there when you run that one. So we have ran DF province. We are looking into the province. We are counting how many cells came from each province. So now we are going to run the next one, where we are looking into category now. We are looking into category now. So I've just pressed Shift Enter. Now categories. If you go back to our GF, our first 5 rows here, you can see how our data was categorized. It's categorized by drinks, groceries, bakery. Of course, we are focusing on first 5 rows. We have other categories that are now showing here. If we run this this value count function, now it's showing you that which category is most sales. Obviously, you can see here the one with the highest number is groceries, meaning to say they have more sales compared to toiletries, meat, bakeries. We are just looking into sales, but suppose we want to look into profits now. Obviously, that's a different scenario. We're gonna run that, and then you can understand. Okay. Moving on to payment methods. Suppose I just want to understand which is the most popular payment method here that our customers are preferring as they are paying here. So I'm just gonna run a count, value count in this column, a payment method from our dataset, so that we can understand that this is just some basic insights that you can quickly deduce by just running this functions. So shift enter. You can see here we have 3 payment methods: either cash, card, EFT. So now it's already showing you that the payment method which is dominating most is card. It's telling you that our clients now, they prefer paying with card compared to paying with an EFT, which is these are just some basic insights that you can deduce from this function that we have run here. So as I explained, we are just looking into basic insights from exploration. We are moving deep, step by step. So I've provided some notes here, which you can also refer when you look into this later on, as I will attach this to provide to you guys. Okay. Any questions so far before I move into our next section, which is visualization? Okay, I'll just take a minute. There are no questions. I will proceed. Okay, so now we are going to look into sales by category now. When you're looking into sales, obviously now we want to see which is the most profitable product as we are looking into this now. So we are looking into sales by category. Here is the codes that I've provided here. I have some comments inside in the notes that are explaining here what is happening. What is happening in the first line of code, I'm grouping the data by category, and then we are going to look into summarizing, like adding all the totals in each category, and then we are going to sort it, like you see here, the sort value. We want to sort it in descending order, meaning to say we want our highest value to be appearing first, which we can quickly give you a quick insight instead of having a random values appearing. So the first line of code here, I gave a variable size category underscore sales, and then we are grouping by category, and then we are picking the column that we also want to do to carry out our analysis. Like here, I'm summarizing, we're doing a summation here, and then we sort that. And then the next thing in our line of code, we have to tell, after we get that result, we have to create a chart. This is now visualization. What is happening when I say category sales? I'm just referring to this variable I have identified there, and then we are saying plot. It's a function. We are plotting a graph, and I'm telling it what kind of graph do I want to be plotted, which says kind equals bar. We want a bar chart. So on top of that, you see there's one that says plt.figure. Now I'm more like identifying the size of the chart, the size of that visualization. I'm trying to position it, give it the size. I'm telling Matplotlib the size of the chart that I want, and I'm telling it to plot it in our Google Colab here. So the next 3 words we see is setting chart labels is title. You see this when we run this, but for now I'm just explaining, understanding, so that you understand the code that I have written above here. Obviously, if you have worked with data or maybe simple mathematics, you work with graphs, you can understand when we are trying to say X label, which is X-axis, Y label, this is Y-axis, right? You get a clear picture as I ran this code. And then finally, we're going to plot that. You understand? So the first step was to do our analysis here, or maybe our statistic. We are summarizing the data, but that data has to be grouped, as I have explained. And then the next thing that we did is we are telling the kind of graph that we need, or the kind of chart that we need after we get the result from this first step there that we did there. And then we're setting the labels, and then now we are telling it to plot which is to show a visualization. So if I press Shift Enter here, you're going to see what is happening. Right now we have a visualization. It's more like giving you an understanding of what I was explaining. So you go through these notes, it's just explaining the same thing that I've explained each line of code. So here from our graph here, you can see that which one is the product category is high sales, or which is earning a small profit as a supermarket. You see here, meat. Right. Earlier on, when I was doing value count, we were just counting values like here. Where is it? Where we ran DF. Just a minute, so that I can just give you a quick understanding and the difference of what we are trying to do here. See here, I was looking into a count in which we are giving a count. We're not summarizing anything of which category is the highest performance. Obviously, we are saying groceries are popular here by value count. But here now, this is where we get most insights now. We are looking into sales. Yes, as a business, you are looking, it's a supermarket, the business. Obviously, they are into this to make money. So at the end of the day, they want to show that, okay, from the products and product categories that we have in our supermarket throughout various provinces, we want to look into where are we selling most and where are we getting more profit. You see, yeah. So now already it's telling you that meat is the one that is selling the most, and drinks are underperforming. Obviously, there are reasons. So when you look something like this, it gives you something to ponder. Like, maybe let me do an investigation. Why our drinks are not selling more? You see, we are doing this sales by category. It can give you some insights here. I've provided some notes, even some of the things that we can, some insights that we can deduce there. Like here, it says these are just some questions I just thought of randomly that can, when you answer them, you have a basic insight from the visualization that we have produced there. You see here, which product category earns the most money? Obviously, it's meat. So we go back to this first line of code here where I said ascending false. Now I said I want it to appear in the highest value, followed by the least, so on and so on to the least performing. You can see we are starting with the highest value meat. So this is what I was just trying to tell Matplotlib to follow as it plots this graph. Okay, right. Let's look into another one. This one I'm not going to explain much into the code. I've explained and provided some notes. So if you need further understanding, you go deeper. You can also, as well, have questions, you can reach us. We are also happy to help. Then now, this one I'm just going to do Shift Enter. For this one, we are now analyzing the sales by province. We want to look at which province has more sales. But look here, I did not run that sort function, sort values. That's why you see our bar chart is looking like this. It's more like it's followed in what do you call it? An alphabetical order, which is ascending. You're starting from Eastern Cape. You can understand just simple things. But alright, what can we deduce here? You can see Limpopo is the one who has highest sales, which has highest sales. Remember, we are still running, we are looking into the sales. This is where we want to have a more understanding. As I've explained, it's a business, you want to make money. So from this now, what insights can we deduce? You can think it on your side. You can just think, what can you deduce from here? What is this graph telling you? Yes. So this chart answers real business questions like which province generates highest revenue. We look at Limpopo and which regions need more marketing. This is something that now maybe you are a top echelon in terms of decision makers in your business. Suppose you are one of the management of this supermarket. Yes, now we want to look into which regions have more marketing that you need to market more in terms of, we look at revenue. Obviously, Eastern Cape is underperforming. So you now go into detail now to investigate. Probably you need a field service, someone to go and investigate to see what is happening. Probably there's something that is happening with the supermarkets in this region, this province. Yeah, this is something basic that you can just you can deduce from this graph. Well, let's do another one, which is time trend. For this one, I'm going to do a daily sales trend time analysis. So I've already provided the code here, which is just to save time. You can go through it later on, and so that you can understand as well. For beginners, don't worry too much. We're going to provide the video. You can go through slow as you can, revise it, and you get something out of it. Maybe you can give you a basic understanding before you advance into deeper. Okay, right. This is our line graph now. This is our line graph. Right. What did I do here when I ran this line of code? First of all, let's refer back to our data sets, this table here. We have a date, but sometimes this date, it will show not as actual as a date, but it will show as a text. So obviously it will be difficult for our library to plot a graph if it's reading a date data type as a string or a text instead of it as a date. That is the reason why I've ran this first line of code here. I'm just trying to convert date column to date time objects, which is an actual date that our Python library can understand and can use for our analysis. So you see here, df date equals to PD, I've explained, and then the function that I'm running here is I'm converting that to date. It is a function. It's a function which is I don't know what can I say. It's more like it's already existing in Python. That's how simple I can explain it. Yes. And then what are we converting? We are converting a date column here. I've already pointed out here. So after that, now we are grouping our daily sales by date and the total sales. Then we summarize that. Then it goes to a plotting visualization now, as I've explained that when we say fixed size, 10, 5, it's just giving you the size. Width, length, it's just giving you the size in which you're telling it, just plot the size of this graph. Obviously giving you a title, label. You see the title is already there. Labeling it here by date. All right. So what can we deduce from this? Some insights. What can we deduce? Already you can see here from this line graph, we are doing daily sales. You can see that which one is the highest. Obviously this date, 15th of February 2024, is the one where the supermarket had the highest sales. So it gives you something to ponder about. As we said, what insights can we get, and why do we need insights from raw data so that it is for decision making? So if you're a manager now, you're supposed to go back and say, okay, let's investigate why did we have highest number of sales on this date? What was happening? Yeah, perhaps maybe it was a certain product category that made us to generate more revenue. So it's more like you can strategize. You come up with strategies, which is more, it's just the essence of data analysis. Earlier on, I explained that data analysis is just working with raw data into insights so that it helps in decision making in the business world. So I've provided some notes here and some questions, just like I have explained here, and tried to which days have spikes, which days has the least performances. So suppose maybe you want to go back to and check that, okay, so when during the week do we have the least sales? Do we have least sales on weekends or in the midweek? Or yeah, just like that. Or why do we have this kind of effects like low sales? Is it because of seasonal effects? For example, here, our first graph here, we plotted and we see that I'm going back to the graph of bar graph. I just wanted to link it to the line graph just to give you some understanding. You see here, drinks, they are least performing. Just as I was saying, is it a seasonal effect? Probably it's winter time. Not many people drink, take cold drinks during winter. That could be another reason. Now you are doing your investigation. Probably it has it's another reason. So yes, this is what we're trying to work on. So there are other things that I've placed here. For example, now I just want to see the highest values in the total sales. I've provided here n largest, and I just want 10, the top 10. Now they are going to be picked randomly from the total sales. Let me just say shift enter here. You'll see that they are picked randomly, but we are looking at the one that is the highest sales. See, it only picked the one that is the highest sales. It's just a quick one. Now you can analyze this graph. You can further visualize it however you want so that you come to understand. So here I said I just wanted the top rows, top 10 rows, which is the highest value. So in terms of highest transactions, it has given you this. So we can do other charts which has other meaning, or which can give you a proper analysis so that your insights are not skewed. For example, here, I'm going to run a histogram. We are just trying to understand the distribution here. Let me say on this code that I've provided here, already you can see we are looking at sales column, and then I'm telling it to plot a histogram, which I say kind hist, it just means histogram, and then it's going to have a title, and then we want it to show, like here, shift enter, it's going to give us a histogram. Yeah. Others, you can also plot here a scatter plot. As I have explained, Matplotlib allows you to do various charts which can help you in your understanding. Yes. Right. Here I'm going to do the same way as we did for a bar chart for sales by category, but here I'm going to plot a pie chart. Yes. Suppose you prefer a pie chart instead of a bar graph. Yes. So let me just quickly explain this line of code. So as I've said, we are grouping cells by category. I've explained it before. And then now, this is the code that we have here for plotting our pie chart. So in our pie chart, I'm telling Matplotlib that I'm going to need labels. So these labels, when I say index, we are just looking into this table here. Index is picking these columns that we have here. So our index starts from 0, 1, so on, going here. So from the first column here, our index, looking into columns, we're looking at 0, which is date, province, going on. So this is something that I'm trying to tell tell in my code here for plotting the pie chart. Obviously, we are not going to plot that. So which one is the next one in our categories there? When we're looking into categories, right? So, and I want to present it as a percent. This is what I'm trying to do here. And then starting angle, wage props, edge color, and all those things, which is just to give a demarcation here. You see, we have a white line in between here. All right, now, what can we deduce here? We are looking at which category performs best. Where are we having a highest cells meat. Already we've identified meat as the category that has highest performance from our bar graph earlier on, and it's shown here. And by color, it's just random colors. It's just random colors here, right? Then the least ones that are performing drinks, followed by bakery, and all these things. So all in all, we are trying to answer different business questions. Yeah, I've provided here some of the questions and some insights which we can deduce from these graphs. Yeah, as I promised earlier on, I said I'm just going to give an example for NumPy just to give you a quick understanding. Remember, I mentioned that NumPy is just numerical Python. You are working with same dimension of data type, which are numbers. So I'm just going to do a quick, it's more like a quick statistics that we did before when we did df describe. It's going to give us something similar, but here I'm using NumPy now. This is another Python library. So here I just an example, just a few line of codes that you can understand from there when you look at it. Right. Sales array, which is a variable which I have identified here, and then we are analyzing total sales by values, and then we just want to first take values that are in total sales column. We just want the first 10, which is for this one, of course, is randomly picked. But if you go back here to the top one that we did before, you can see we just want the first 10 rows, but we are looking into the values that are in total sales column, not everything else. This is what we are trying to look at. And then, yeah, it's just giving you these values. It's more like you want a quick statistics. Here, I've picked 10 values here. If you count them, there are 10 here. And we want average sales in the total sales category column there. Median sales, we're looking at the middle, highest, where do we have the highest sales? Remember when I did the highest transaction here, you see here, row number 216 is the one where we have in total sales. Already here, when I ran my quick statistics using NumPy, you see here when I say highest sales is giving me 1441, which is the same value that we got there. And the underperforming one where we had lowest sales and all these things. And I've provided quick notes here just to say what is happening when you say mean, median, max. I've explained that here. And it's also providing you with some quick insights that you can deduce there. Well, that is the end of our session. Now I open the floor for the questions. Maybe you want me to explain a certain concept that I've explained earlier on. The floor is open, please. Valentine, do you have something to add?
No, point to me if you want to ask any questions. So yeah, other guy left now. But yeah, if it's about the data structure, data types, then you analyze, it gives you insights. So it's more good when you look at the visualization. And also if you see, I think in terms of the visualization, they are static in terms of Python, but Power BI can give you interactive visualizations. But the thing which is good with the Python, it's very powerful. You can see it can show you the whole column in terms of for those random 10 or something. It does show the whole column, and it can run a lot of big numbers in terms of if it's big data. That's the advantage of using Python. I don't know if Boy Tumelo, you have any question?
No questions. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I think Carlos, thank you very much for your presentation. It was well informing and it is on point. Thank you very much. We end the session.
Okay. No, thank you very much. Thank you, Bitumela, for joining us. Just will be in, I think I'll send you an email with the link of our recorded video as well, together with this notebook.